Hi, thank you for having me. I think. Okay.
We have some that would, yeah.
All right. I have a class of 22 that they go up in their 90s and don't usually eat it, but I will use it. You let me know. Well, first, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for letting me. This is a program I could talk for a long time about, but I'll try to get you out here on time.
Yep.
So, a little bit about myself. So, I'm the Wellness Center Coordinator at Westminster Village. A certified personal trainer, rock study trainer, a senior specialist, and then I just got a box and burn certification. Learn more about the boxing so that I teach it correctly. So, I was going to say, we'll talk a little bit about Parkinson's. How many people know someone with Parkinson's? So most everyone. Now I'm not a doctor, but we'll go over some very brief stuff. So Parkinson's is a neurological disorder. The neurons responsible for producing dopamine, which is a chemical messenger responding to transmitting signals in the brain, allowing for smooth function of the body's muscles and movement. So it's a neurological disorder. It's second only to Alzheimer's. There are about 1.5 million people in the United States who have Parkinson's disease. So that means it affects about 1 in 100 Americans over the age of 60, which is the average age of diagnosis. It's estimated that 5 to 10% of Parkinson's diagnosis are what called early diagnosis. Before the age of 40. So it affects men and women pretty equally. Currently, the cause is not known. There is not a cure. But if you've read stuff around here, you know there's continuing research. There's been research here at Purdue involving it. So most people have a suspicion that a family member has the symptoms long before the diagnosis. So the way it's diagnosed now is there are a list of symptoms, and if you meet criteria for enough of those, then it's Parkinson's, but obviously those start before you get diagnosed. The common symptoms is tremors. Most of us have seen that, seen Michael J. Fox when he first announced about having Parkinson's. That's one of the well-known. Not everyone has the tremors. It's not the only thing, but that's one of the well-known. The bradykinesis, which is that slowness of movement, trouble with balance or postural instability, and rigidity of the arms and legs. Other symptoms that you might not think about include cramped writing. So a lot of people with Parkinson's have trouble with writing, reduced arm swing on the affected side, foot drag on the affected side, freezing, loss of facial expressions is one that's common, low voice volume, and that festination or that shuffling of the feet, and a loss of smell. That's one of the things that people actually often happens, one of the early symptoms, but obviously it's not, they don't know it's Parkinson's until more symptoms arise. So now I want to show you a short video, about 4 minutes, going to introduce you, tell you about the founding of Rock Study. I think you'll do better than I can. Then we'll talk a little bit about Rock Study, and then we'll talk about Rock Study specifically of our program at Westminster Village. Oops. Oh, sorry, I had that in the wrong order. Okay, sorry, first I'm going to talk about why exercise. I did this after. So one of the first studies related to Parkinson's and exercise was done by Cleveland Clinic. A doctor did the ride across Iowa with a friend on a tandem bike, and she had Parkinson's. And he noticed at the end of the day that her symptoms were lessened. She could write better. So he developed a study on tandem bikes. They were indoor tandem bikes. And what they found, but their conclusion from it was that what they called forced intense exercise would help reduce the symptoms of Parkinson's. So that basically means pushing people past where they would go on their own. Since that, so more recently, then the University of Indianapolis did a study on Parkinson's of those that did the boxing classes versus those that exercised in other ways. And they found that the patients who did the boxing exercises had more functioning and less symptoms than those at the same level of the disease who did other exercising programs. So that's kind of how exercise has been shown to help with the Parkinson's. Now we'll go over that 4-minute video that's going to show you a little bit about how Rock Steady itself started. And it started here in Indiana, in Indianapolis.
Here in Indianapolis, Rock Steady Boxing looks like a typical boxing gym. The group gathered here, though, is far from the professional ranks. Many are new to the sport. They will not participate in an actual bout or even spar. A different and uniquely formidable opponent looms for these men and women. They are facing Parkinson's disease.
Doctor tells you you have Parkinson's and it's degenerative, means it gets worse every day, and it's incurable. Now, if you put that together, you realize that as crummy as you feel today, this is the best you're going to feel. Tomorrow you'll feel worse. The next day you'll feel worse. It's hard to get up out of bed in the morning, but that is the equation that governs you.
Scott Newman knows firsthand the difficulty of this equation. At age 40, he was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's. The former Indianapolis district attorney soon found himself depressed and robbed of his ability to write and type. Then a friend suggested he try a boxing workout.
All I knew is after 6 weeks of intense boxing training, I was getting better. I could sign my name again. I was able to type again. I don't think I'd be sitting here today if we hadn't done this.
1, 2, 3, kick some ass! This is Rock Steady Boxing, which Newman founded in 2006. The program opened the first non-contact boxing gym dedicated to people with Parkinson's disease. Over 200 people take classes here, and almost 300 affiliates have opened across the country. Hit somebody! Come on, baby! Newman recruited former pro boxer Christy Rose Fulmar as the program's director. Why does boxing seem to work as opposed to other sports? It's this concept of what's called forced intense exercise. So in other words, pushing yourself out of your perceived limits. And we need to focus on things like balance and speed, hand-eye coordination, rhythm. And a lot of these components are mixed into a boxer's workout. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hard right hand, hit somebody. Come on, hit somebody. 3, come on. 2, 1, have a rest. Good job, stand up straight. You don't take it easy on him, huh? Hell no. You must get a lot of raised eyebrows, though.
I do.
When you mention we're using boxing as a therapy for Parkinson's.
Well, they don't realize we're talking about fundamentally unlocking a better quality of life for people in a way that clinically can be measured and has been measured.
Boxing is not a cure for Parkinson's disease, but we've compared the people that box on a regular basis to people who do a different type of exercise on a regular basis. And what we found were that even though the severity of their disease is the same, the people that were boxing are maintaining a higher level of function over time than the people that were doing just a more traditional type exercise program.
I take medication, but there's nothing that will give me the confidence that this gym gives me.
Tracy Motes was diagnosed at age 54, and 18 months ago, she came to Rock Steady for the first time.
I couldn't hit the speed bag twice. I couldn't jump rope twice. There were so many things that I couldn't do from the first day that I came, and they were teaching me how to punch one of the bags. I was just seeing it as Parkinson's, and I'm not going to let it win. I'm not going to let it take my body over.
It's clearly physical once they're in here, but how emotional and psychological is it? I see people come in here in tears and having to retire early and losing their driver's license and thinking their life is over, and they're told by their doctors to just get their things in order, get prepared for end of life, and suddenly they start exercising and they're making friends and they're getting stronger and they're standing up straighter, and I watch people get their lives back. For his part, Scott Newman has no illusions of defeating Parkinson's, but boxing history does provide some inspiration. Good job.
I think myself was like maybe Henry Cooper, the British fighter that knocked out Muhammad Ali, okay? He threw him one good punch, and Muhammad Ali went down, and he knew he'd been in their fight. And that's what I want Parkinson's to know, it's been in their fight.
So this video is a little old, so they're at, I believe, about 700 affiliates worldwide. They're in every state. Last year they had their first ever Rock Steady Coaches Conference. They'll have another one, in fact, this September, so coming up pretty quick. And I'm actually going to be able to speak at that one. So yeah, so it's grown about a bit then. In fact, Scott, who founded it, is going to be at that conference, so that'll be fun to see. I know he's back practicing law now again. So a little bit about our program. So our program started about 3 years ago with 16 boxers. So it's a little bit of a moving target. We have about 62 boxers now. We have 3 levels of classes, and each level meets 3 times a week. So the classes run 60 minutes. So we do, and then we had, last summer, someone joined our Rock Steady program, but she worked at her kid's school. And she's like, once school starts, I won't be able to do this anymore. So we started 2 after-work hours, so a Wednesday night and a Sunday afternoon for people who work. So we have about 11 hours total of Rock Steady programming right now. We do, so the basic structure of a class is we're going to do a warm-up, then we're going to do some kind of workout, and that workout can vary greatly. Some days we'll focus on strength, so we'll be doing dumbbells and weight exercises. Just Wednesday I did one on cognitive, so we're doing more and some fine motor skills. We'll do balance. So we will specifically go at those to help with those symptoms of Parkinson's. And so those will vary. We'll always do some kind of boxing in the second half of the class. Sometimes it ties specifically into our theme, sometimes not as well, but we're always going to be doing some boxing. I mean, that's their favorite part. And then a cool down. Another thing you're going to notice if you come, see a Rock Steady class is it is more than just a class. Everyone in there, while their symptoms may be different, they may experience stuff different, they've all got Parkinson's, they all know it, so there's an immediate connection when someone new comes, and it's like a family. If someone hasn't been there in a couple days, they'll start coming up to us. Have you heard from Dan? What's going on? Why isn't he here? So now I want to show you, this is a really short video. This is one of our current boxers. You're going to see a side-by-side on the first tab. So we do an assessment when we get someone who's going to sign up for Rock Steady. Before they do the class, we'll do an assessment. It takes about an hour long. We go through some medical history, some questions related to Parkinson's, then we do a physical assessment, and we do a battery of tests. What you're going to see is one of our boxers doing one of our tests, which is a 6-inch step over. So we have them, they step over a step and come back. The one on the left is going to be his initial assessment. The one on the right is going to be a year later. It's going to show the same assessment. Might have to click the play. This one I don't have to auto play. I don't know if I click this button if it'll advance. Or if it will. So now, can't promise that everybody's going to see that progression of success, but certainly we see successes like that. So that's about the best video we got that shows kind of what rock study can do for an individual. Another thing with rock study, like I said, it's more than just a class. So we try to keep it fun as well. We do a lot of games in class. We'll do theme workouts. We do a lot of different themes, and they enjoy that. It brings some fun into the class. There was my 4th of July up there in the right. I had boxers that want to take pictures. We'll dress up Bob, which is one of the boxing dummies, and you'll see them come in, and sometimes the boxers will be taking pictures of Bob because he's dressed up for our theme. We do outings outside of class, trying now to do that at least quarterly. So we had a cookout a couple months ago. We'll try to, I'm thinking we're going to have a Halloween party, and then we had a Christmas party last year. We'll do that again. But it really is a community. And then every class we end as a team. So every class, we come in, everybody puts their hand in, we do the cheer, rock study before they head out. So, next I got. So, how you get started in rock study? We've got cards around and some information, but call, email, or Facebook. You can stop in to observe a class, and that's what we do. A lot of people, we get them to observe a class first. We had one join just the other day. They were excited. They wanted, like, can I get my assessment today or tomorrow? So we did it, and they're in the class. But a lot of it, we start with having them visit a class. Like I said, we do the assessment, allows us to know the boxer more, as well as physically where they're at, to place them in the appropriate class so they're going to get the most out of it, and provides a baseline. And we try to do yearly reassessments, and we keep track of that so we can kind of see if we've maintained, progressed, lost. And then if you're looking for a class, like you have a friend in Michigan that got diagnosed with Parkinson's. If you go on the Rock Study site, put in your zip code, it will give you all the classes nearby you. And we get people now that travel from Crawfordsville, parts of Illinois, coming to our program. We have people in our program that actually started, when it started in Indianapolis, they used to drive down to Indianapolis until the program started here. There's some handouts with it. There's our basic contact information for that. I invite you, I need to get a little better about updating it, but I invite you to check out our Facebook page. Any interest in the program at all, whether it's just as a supporter or observer, like our page, and you'll see some of the stuff. You can go back and look at some of the stuff we've done there. All right, and then I'll take questions. And after that, we'll all learn some boxing. So,
This a program only for Parkinson's.
this program is you have to have a Parkinson's diagnosis to be in.
And no program for balance.
Well, I mean, we have classes for balance.
Other kind of.
We have other classes in that. And I just started a boxing class at Westminster. It's not a rock study, just a boxing class. So there are our terms, but the Rock Study program is specifically for people with Parkinson's. Yep.
Is there a cost involved?
There is. So it is $60 monthly that the boxers pay to be in the program.
Insurance
No, insurance does, at this time, insurance does not cover Rock Study boxing. And there's pros and cons there. Yes?
Are you having a parking lot for all these people coming in?
I am trying to get spaces. I'm trying to get them to get the employees not to park in that first section. That is something I've been battling since the start. It's not just the Rock Study. Even other times we have people coming in. So that's a Westminster question. But yeah, that's something I'm working on. I may go put up signs myself.
I believe Muhammad Ali had Parkinson's. Did he continue training or doing any training at all during the time he had it?
I believe he did. In fact, one of his daughters spoke at the Rock Study Conference. Sorry. So he was asking about Muhammad Ali, pretty famous for having Parkinson's, and he's talking about if Ali trained after his Parkinson's. Like I said, I believe so. One of his daughters spoke at the last conference, and I believe he did do, still did training into the Parkinson's. I know I have a picture in my office of him with Michael J. Fox when they were doing some promotional stuff for Parkinson's. She had written a book about for family members, for kids specifically, but I think any members, like I'm trying to remember what it's called, but I'll hold your hand so you don't fall or something like that, but about having someone in the family with Parkinson's. But
is this something that their doctor would go ahead and say, hey, this is something I think that you need to look at, get involved with? I mean, are the medical doctors behind this?
We certainly get doctors who will send people to the Rock Study program. I've gone out to different doctors as well, visit offices and pass them information, because it's one of those, several of them that know about it are on board and they will absolutely tell their patients to go there. Some still don't know about it, really. So we're still working to get that information out as well. But yes, we definitely get doctors that will send them, say, go sign up for Rock Study. So. Oh, sorry.
Just a real quick question.
Yeah.
Looking at preventatives or delaying onset, is there any study, and I know you've got concussions involved in things, but does the boxing population, professional group, have a lower incidence of Parkinson's than the non-boxing population as a group?
That, I honestly, I don't know. I can find that out for you. I don't know right off. I know there are, there were some thoughts originally that, like Ali and that it was because of boxing. And like you said, you've got concussions, other things messing with your head when you're getting hit like that. Ours is, by the way, a non-contact as far as you aren't hitting each other. You're hitting things, but you don't hit each other. It is a non-contact boxing program.
But anecdotally, you've implied that exercise is a good thing.
Yes.
Probably prevents or remediates and maybe prevents.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't, and that's one of the things one of the doctors spoke about too. When Parkinson's was kind of being first diagnosed in that, they because of the movement disorders in that, they actually told people, stay in bed, don't go anywhere. We don't want you to fall. We don't want you to do that. Obviously, that's made 180 degrees as they've learned more that it's no, you need to exercise, you need to keep moving, you need to be doing stuff. And boxing, one of the things boxing does, and I mentioned that in the video, is it naturally involves some of those things because we're going to work on balance. One of the biggest things, and we're going to do this in a minute, is we're going to get in that boxing stance, which is a nice, stable stance. You're going to work on that hand-eye coordination. Mentally, there's involved knowing those punches and getting those out. So, like I said, so there's some stuff naturally built into that. But like I said, any forced intense exercise is going to help some with those Parkinson's. But it is a progressive disorder. It's not going to stop it. Eventually, people are going to, those are going to get worse. That's the nature of the disease. And we have, I will mention before, just so you know, so we have people from a level where you could walk into class and you wouldn't know anyone has Parkinson's by the way they're moving around and beating stuff up and that, to we've got people in wheelchairs and assistive devices. It's for everyone. It's not, you don't have to be at a certain functioning level to participate. So in fact, one of the things, and probably one of the toughest things with it is, so we had a boxer who we lost about 4 months ago now, and And to me, he was one of the first people I trained when I started, so I saw him 5 days a week, 3 times in class and 2 for personal training. But one of the things is, so the family said in lieu of flowers, send donations to our Rock Study program. So one of the things I'm excited to do with that is, because he was in a wheelchair, and that is bought an adjustable speed bag that will set at a height for people in wheelchairs or seated to be able to do the speed bag. Because right now, with what we have, they have to get up. Some can, but not everybody can. So I'm excited to have that in there. But yeah, and that's probably one of the worst parts of the job. But certainly seeing those successes is a great thing. And it's one of those programs. My mom is actually diagnosed with Parkinson's about 6-7 years ago. Probably the first time I heard about Rock Study. And then when I moved here for this job, they had the Rock Study program, and I was not involved with it before this, but now it is near and dear to my heart. I love this program. I love our boxers. It's a great thing to be part of. Yes?
How many instructors do you have per session with the people?
It will, per class, it will vary. We have at least one. Right now we have 3 coaches. We just lost one of our trainers and coaches, went on to nursing school. We brought in a new trainer, and she's in the process of getting certified for Rock Study. In the higher level classes, we may end up with 1 coach, sometimes 2 or 3. In the lower level, where we got people with, like I said, on assistive devices, walking and that, we have at least 2 coaches in there, a lot of times more, and then we have a lot of help with volunteers or cornermen. So anybody who's in the program, they can have someone come as their cornerman, helps in class. They can participate in the workout and that as well. So it's their support system, and we have a handful of people at higher levels that are doing that, and then we try to have a 1-to-1 ratio of people in our afternoon class. All right, so I want to put this down for a second. I want to try to talk loud. We have let's see, when do we need to be? We have like 5 minutes. All right, real quick. So if you can, I'm going to have you stand up. Tell you what, if we got one volunteer that wants to come up. Come on up, come on up. Oh, yes, I see the shirt, so let's see how these fit. Now, usually we'd have wraps on underneath the gloves. We've got, these are your traditional or Mexican style wraps that we actually wrap the hand. Most of our boxers will use this, which is speed wrap. So it goes on like a glove. Main things those do, both of those, is they give you more padding here on the knuckle, and they give you support for the wrist, which is important in this. But, and how many left-handed people do we have? Oh, you're going to throw me off. Okay, so left-handed are southpaws. You're going to do the opposite of what I say. Oh, did we get it on the wrong? I got 2 of the same. Here, I got my other ones. I don't know how to change it. I got my personal ones. All right, so we're going to start with that standing about shoulder width apart. Then we're going to take that left foot right if you're left-handed, and like we're taking a step forward. So here, then that left foot's going to be pointed about 1 o'clock. Okay, that back foot between 2 and 3. Left-handed, you're going to be what, 11 and 10 to 9. Okay? Soft knees. We should feel really firm here. Hard to move. Hard to push us over. That back hand, that right hand, going to be right up here by that jaw. Yep. Left hand right up here in front. Okay? So we're protecting that body. We're actually going this way because what we want to give as little target as possible, right? If we give here, we got a big target. small target. So we're gonna start simple enough with that jab and cross. So that jab is that left or non-dominant hand, right if you're a lefty, punching out. So good. The hand's gonna turn so it's facing up, bring it back. We're gonna exhale with those punches. If you can, we're gonna get a little hip into it. Okay? That cross, that dominant hand, that's in back. So we got more movement here. Same straight punch and back. So think of squishing that bug with that back foot, with that right foot, those toes. Now we'll put them together. Jab, cross. All right, come up. We're going to try with the mitts here. All right. So start with that. Yep, jab. Let's start with that jab. So just boom. Yeah. There we go. You could be practicing this too. That shadow boxing. Now we'll do that jab cross. So 1, 2. 1, 2. There you go. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Wow.
You're doing pretty well there.
All right, so thank you again for your time. Hopefully we got a little information. I'm welcome to take, if you have other questions later, my contact information is on those cards. Please feel free to let me know. So thank you for being a great group. Appreciate your time.